Alright, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the best traffic sources for OFM in 2026. So these are basically just my personal favorites and what I've been using for a while to obviously get to where I am now. And just in general, the things that I think, even if you just use one of these, you can make good money. Yeah, like you don't really need to do other things in my opinion. Obviously there's a lot more than what I'm going to mention here. There's dating apps, which some people still do. There's YouTube. There's a lot of other things that you can do, but these ones are the ones that you can focus on literally just one and still make good money. So yeah, these aren't ranked exactly like in a list of best to worst. But personally, like just if you're interested to know, my personal favorite is Reddit. I think Reddit is pretty easy for how high quality subs can be. And there's not really like any sort of like luck to it when it comes to like reels and TikToks. Even though there's obviously many factors that can indicate you should be going viral, there is still a little bit of luck in my opinion involved. So how we run Reddit is organic marketing. Obviously, there is other things like suicide where you spam a bunch of upvotes. There's obviously like just upvoting in general, like very small amount. We don't do that. We do a little bit of suicide on the side. I won't be talking that in this video though, only because that's not where like literally most of my traffic comes from. But yeah, so we do organic marketing, which basically no really there's literally no like money involved, right? Other than like proxies, we don't actually spend money on Reddit like at all. So yeah. So for accounts creating or buying, we personally create. A lot of people, when I tell them this, they get surprised and shocked, like, oh, like what's the point of that, blah blah. We run the accounts on the mobile. So if you don't really know, or if you're new to OFM in general, mobile Reddit is a lot safer, and the accounts last a lot longer than they would on web. So we run on mobile first of all, and the reason why we create them and warm them up from start is because we found when you buy an account and you log in, all of that stuff, even if you have a similar proxy or maybe even the exact same proxy of the seller provider that most don't, but if they did, then obviously even if you use the same proxy, logging in to different device, that straight away, Reddit's like algorithm can see that. Even though a lot of people do buy accounts, and I do, it's still good. I'm not saying it's not good. There is a higher ban chance. It still works, like I said. Some like don't get me wrong, it's good if you want to do that instead. It does save you a little bit of time, especially for karma. But we create, and we don't farm karma or anything like that. We just grow it fresh organically by ourselves from the start. So yeah, warm up with creating accounts. How we do it is we do like a literally like a 3 to 5 day warm up where we basically just scroll, join a few subreddits, and then upvote, downvote, and comment like 1 to 2 times per day for that period of time. And then once the warm up's done, obviously then you can start posting. Before you post, account setup, nice and simple. No matter the niches, we always keep it simple. Obviously, like it should be like depending on the niche, but we do always keep it simple. In terms of like the bio, we keep it short, just straight to the point of trying to promote the link. Obviously, the OF link, you can just put a link, a tracking link or free trial link. The link should be different in every account. So this is one thing I'll mention, and this goes for everything. So for links, for captions, for content, obviously content can be spoofed, which I'll talk about soon. But nothing should link a different account to another, because that's how you can get chain banned and get multiple accounts banned. If you post in the same subreddit, or if you have the same links in the bios, if you have the same content that's not being spoofed, anything like that can chain the accounts and then get you banned. But yes, obviously link in bio, just trial link, new tracking link, anything like that. Pro pictures a Reddit avatar, just customize one, make it girly, and then obviously banner can be her body or her face, but obviously no nudity in the banner, and that's it. So now we can start posting. We do 1 post a day, increase it by 1 a day. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 20. Once you're on 20, that's when you can then, well, you basically stop at 20 and then you can increase it later on, after like a month. But it's safe to stay at 20. Subreddits and niches. So this is basically where a lot of testing comes, because what you want to do is obviously, you know, pick a niche on this account that you want to focus on. For example, let's say feet, which is a really good niche on Reddit in my opinion. And then find subreddits, right? Like you can literally just search up feet and SOW and you find one. You can find a model that's doing it, and then find more subreddits from her page. Then find another model from her page. It's very simple. A lot of people get stuck on this point. I think, in my opinion, it's just them being lazy. It is very easy to find subreddits. As soon as you find one, you'll be in the loophole of just finding more and more and more because of the models posting in there. But yeah. Next. Well, not next, sorry. But to do with that, the way we do it is we basically test the subreddit. So like, let's say a few doesn't work well, it doesn't get like 20 plus upvotes a day, then we change them out for new ones until we basically find ones that work well. And obviously with that comes content, which is next. So sometimes subreddits aren't an issue, it can be the content. Content is the most important thing on Reddit. You could have bad captions and bad subreddits, or not bad, but like, you know, average subreddits, and if you have very good content, you can still do well on Reddit. So yeah, obviously testing the content is very important as well, other than just niches and subreddits, because, you know, even if you have the perfect niche for your model, if your content's bad, you won't perform good. Content is number one important thing on Reddit. So make sure, the way we just get content is, you know, just find models that are performing well within your niche and just ask your model to recreate that. Obviously, you can add your own twist to it, what you think might make it look a bit better. But yeah. Next is captions. Once again, we take inspiration a lot of the time from bigger models that are doing well in the subreddit we post in. So let's say, you know, just as an example, obviously this is not like the greatest caption ever, but just as a quick example, if a popular caption in that subreddit was, I'd love to do something to you, like, you know, whatever, right? You can just basically take inspiration from that, make it similar, but not the exact same, just make it similar. And obviously, like, with captions, I think it's one of those things where the more you do it, the more you learn and come up with your own ideas. But at first, that's what I recommend to do. Yeah, next is spoofing. So with spoofing, if you do images, you can use a bot. I'm going to type it right now quickly. As you can see, Spoofsy bot on Telegram. That is where you can spoof. It's not free. I think they do a free trial, but it's not free forever. But it is pretty cheap for what it is. You can just spoof images there and you reuse content. Make sure you always do it. If you want to ever reuse content, you have to always spoof it. And then for videos or GIFs, red GIFs is all you need. You don't need to spoof videos. Red GIFs technically does it for you, because all you have to do on red GIFs is just upload the video again and use a different link, and then it's, you know, technically spoofed. But yeah, from there, you know, just keep testing out niches, subreddits, all of that. You know, once you're doing well, make another account, different niche, and so on, and just scale. Next is Twitter. I didn't put much here because it's very simple. I made a video about it literally like a few days ago. If you want to check my channel for more information. But Twitter, all we do is just retweet for retweet using Xbot. So it's literally automated. As simple as it sounds, that's literally it. We make the account, you know, warm up for like 24 hours, buy premium, get retweet groups, get Xbot. Once you have all of that and enter the browser, you literally just make a post, pin it, and then start the bot, and the bot does the rest for you because it does retweet for retweet 24/7. And that's literally what we do for Twitter. It sounds very simple, and it really is. That's why for beginners I do recommend doing this, because in my opinion, it's a very easy way to get your first bit of traffic. Twitter isn't the highest quality, but it is the easiest, so it's definitely good to do on the side. But yeah, like I said, I did make a video about this recently, so if you do want more information on Xbot, go check that out. But you know, like I said, as simple as it sounds, that is honestly really it. Yeah, next one is Reels/TikToks. I put it in the same category just because, you know, when it comes to organic, like short form content, it's the same thing. So for IG warm up, we buy our accounts on IG just to skip a longer warm up, and then new tag on IG. So we buy our accounts, aged, and then we do a warm up for around, like, obviously it's recommended to do more by a lot of people, but in my opinion it's not true. We do literally like a 3 to 5 day warm up of just interacting with OF creators, engaging with their posts, scrolling, and that's it. Once that's done, set up your account. Once, similar to Reddit, like I said, simple bio, link. Obviously on here you can't put an OF link, you can use like link.me or Linktree, stuff like that. Obviously profile picture is just a face. You can show a little bit of chest as well if you want, and that's it. For how the actual account looks, we pin 3 photos, ideally of all her body parts, right? So one could be ass, one could be boobs, one could be her face, or all of it in one. Or obviously if you're focusing on more specific niche like feet, you should have them all showing a bit of her feet as well. But yeah, and other than that, a lot of people always like really get confused about this. VPN, proxy, Wi-Fi, mobile data, which one actually matters or which one actually works. In my opinion, from my experience, all of these can work. IG is not as strict as people think it is. Obviously, if you're in like India, or if you're in even like South America or even Europe, I would recommend to use a VPN at least, or a proxy. But if you're in the UK, US, Australia, Canada, like countries like that, then you can use mobile data or Wi-Fi. And yeah, obviously if you get banned a lot, it is better not to use the same Wi-Fi, because if you get banned like a lot, like I said, when I say a lot, I mean like 10 plus accounts, then it can start becoming a problem. But if you haven't, then it's fine to use your Wi-Fi. And yeah, next is obviously testing the actual content and niches you want to do for IG. So it's very similar to Reddit. You can look at the same concept when it comes to testing. Let's say you start with 5 accounts on IG. Usually how we run it is we'll have like different accounts, different niches on all of them, and just start testing there. And yeah, obviously just posting like two times a day is what we usually stick to, like 2 reels a day, and just whatever works, replicate it, make similar videos to that, and then yeah, and then what's actually viral worthy. So when it comes to reels and organic content, you do really have to focus on like, you have to really think to yourself, is this actually viral worthy? Like when you compare it to bigger models that are actually going viral, is actually viral worthy. So what I mean by this is the actual quality of the video. So obviously the basics, lighting, background, the actual camera quality, what she's doing in the video, what she's wearing, all of these things matter. Even her facial expressions, all of these little things matter. And then obviously when it comes to trends, does a trend match her niche? Does a trend match her? You can't make a skinny girl twerk. It doesn't really make sense. Just things like that. This all matters, and obviously adding your own twist to it to make it more controversial or funny or weird or make people mad. Any type of engagement is good engagement at the end of the day. So you can add your own twist to trends. I always say this in videos when I talk about IG, but adding your own twist to trends really does help a lot. For example, if it's a basic trend where, I don't know, she turns around and then twerks a bit, you can put in the background a dildo where when she bends over, you can see it, that is behind her, like a pink dildo on the floor, on a wall, something like that, right? Adding little things like that to a video can cause extra engagement, because people comment like, oh, what was that pink thing in the background, what was that thing on the floor, what was that thing on the wall? So yeah, little things like that can really help a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Hopefully you guys learned something new from this. Like I said, Reddit I'd recommend the most probably. Next is probably going to be IG Reels and TikTok, and then obviously Twitter at the end. But yeah, like I said, you could literally do any of these free and make money by itself, like a good amount, I mean. But yeah, if you guys want to join my group and you're not in it already, it'll be in the description, free Telegram, and then obviously you can DM me there too if you need any help or any other questions. And yeah, see you guys later.